True manipulation is something every IFVG trader should implement into their day trading strategy, but I'm going to show you exactly how you can identify high quality setups without true manipulation. First, let's go over what true manipulation actually is, and it's very simple. It's when both assets sweep the same high or low or trade into the same fair value gap, or when both assets both have a reason to distribute. So in this case, we have a little example here. I'm going to test you guys. Comment down what you think the answer is. NQ over here trades, sweeps this high, manipulates into this unmitigated hourly fair value gap, leaving us with a bearish SMT because ES did not sweep the high and we left the 1 hour fair value gap unmitigated. Is this safe to take a trade off of? The answer is no. This is not safe to take a trade off of because we left a 1 hour unmitigated gap at our stop loss on ES. Though we manipulated nicely on NQ, ES does not have a reason to distribute in this scenario. But a simple change of this could actually make this trade reasonable. Let's say we had a 15-minute fair value gap here. If we had a 15-minute bearish fair value gap here that ES traded into, that gives ES reason to distribute. Now we have an SMT inside of a high time frame PDA when both assets have reason to distribute. If we are truly bearish in this scenario, we could expect price to leave this hourly unmitigated because NQ already took it, and ES also has reason to distribute. Then we could take shorts and we could expect this low resistance liquidity to get taken on both assets. Now that we understand what true manipulation is, how can we identify high quality IFVG setups without true manipulation? When can we disregard true manipulation is the real question. You will get into these scenarios sometimes in the live markets when you're looking at it, you see that, oh, ES swept below that NQ didn't. I don't want to take this trade because we don't have true manipulation. And then it runs to your full take profit, and then you later realize that, oh, this is actually valid and I could have taken this trade without breaking any rules. So this is how we can identify true manipulation when it matters and when it doesn't. Okay, so usually it is when the low or high that we have an SMT with has already swept or is resting inside of a high time frame PDA. Looking at this, for example, on NQ, we swept, we have a low resting inside of a high time frame. We'll call this a 4 hour bullish fair value gap. We have a low resting inside of a 4 hour bullish. Price then opens higher, generating low resistance liquidity, whatever. We put in a bullish SMT with a intermediate low. Then we get distribution. Some may call this not true manipulation because we didn't sweep the low. We look over on ES, it did absolutely everything that NQ did, but it swept the 4 hour intermediate low to then get distribution. Though this is not true manipulation, the low that we have an SMT with, or that we didn't manipulate on the one asset, is already resting inside. We've already delivered from this high time frame bullish PDA, so we do not need to go back down to this level. One asset can do the damage for us and then we can just both distribute off of it. This SMT, for instance, is just showing that this asset, NQ, does not need to go down to this level to get our distribution. We already got our fuel before. ES just filled up its tank a little bit, while NQ pretty much did the same. ES did the job for NQ in this scenario. We do not need to go lower. I will say, I'm not saying that every time we get a bullish SMT with a low inside of a higher time frame PDA that we will deliver off of this. This is not me saying that every time this happens we will deliver. Sometimes we will resweep to get actual true manipulation and then take us there. But this is just some scenarios that we can disregard it if there is true signature. If there's a nice signature in price, maybe a really strong DOL above. In this case, we have low resistance liquidity. Maybe this is an unmitigated 15-minute, take a good solid mech to then go lower. So I also want to go over another scenario where we can disregard true manipulation, and that is also when we have an internal and external SMT. So that is just a signature in price showing that we do not need true manipulation. This is a big one. I find this one works every single time. Every time we get an internal and an external SMT before, a high time frame PDA, or with a low that we have that is already resting inside of a high time frame PDA, if we get an internal and an external SMT on top of that, that is just more confirmation that we do not need to go lower. I'll show you an on-chart example. Here's a perfect on-chart example when we do not need true manipulation. Okay, it's both of the things that we just went over in one scenario on the live markets. This was on Thursday of last week. As we can see, we have a low inside of a 1 hour bullish fair value gap. Okay, what do we just talk about? When we have a bullish SMT or we do not get true manipulation with a low that is already hit or is resting inside of a 1 hour fair value gap, we can disregard true manipulation already with just one external SMT. If we get good enough confirmation, good enough displacement with our IFVG, that's showing us that we do not need to go lower. In this case, we not only do we get an external SMT with the low inside of a high time frame PDA, we also put in an internal SMT as well. And as soon as we get that internal SMT, we get our 1 minute IFVG to the upside. And then obviously it delivers the full take profit. You could have taken a 1-to-1 to this 30-minute IFVG like most. You also could have held all the way to London session high. So again, I want to clarify one thing. Just because even though there's an internal and an external SMT with the low inside of a high time frame bullish PDA, if we do not get our closure above as our confirmation, this is just our entry trigger in IFVG. This right here, this signature and price, is not really showing us that we're going higher. What's going to confirm that is our IFVG. So if you just see this and then click buy, you may lose. You know, this is why we use IFVGs as our entry trigger or change in state of delivery. We need more confirmation to actually enter our position. So I'm not just saying see an internal, external SMT with a low inside of a high time frame PDA, click buy or sell. You know, whatever scenario you're talking about. We still need a high quality displacement candle or a high quality entry trigger to really solidify price or to really get confirmation and frame prices in the direction that you want to be trading in. Not only do we need an A plus entry trigger, we need good draws on liquidity above or below, wherever, if you're entering a long or a short. In this case, we have great draws on liquidity above, which makes even more sense that we don't need true manipulation. You have to play so many things in your trading to really identify a good setup and to really disregard certain signatures in price. So in this case, yeah, we don't have true manipulation, but we have low resistance liquidity leading up to an unmitigated high time frame PDA, and we have higher time frame low resistance liquidity leading up to our session high. Though, you know, we don't have true manipulation, we have clear draws above that is clearly pulling price. And as you can see, as soon as we got the 1 minute closure, we just pumped a like, look at price. As soon as we got the entry, bonk, 200 points right there. You could have got 200 points for disregarding true manipulation with all these things lining in with this signature and price. That's why I'm saying don't just see the internal, external SMT inside of a high time frame PDA. Don't just click buy, because you need other things to go in your favor as well. You need great draws on liquidity. You need a great entry trigger, and then you're good to go. This is a short but very extremely informational and effective video. If you implement this into your day trading strategy, you will catch way more wins, I promise you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Send this to your unprofitable friend. Check out my Instagram for some short form content. I left a link in the description for my free Discord where I do live trading every single week. And pop in there, say what's up. You can ask me questions at any time. And yeah, take care.